It's been a long time since we last chatted, huh? Sorry if this might be a sort of attraction from what I usually put out, but due to real life events and scheduling conflicts, I won't be able to bring you any full analysis videos of any obscure subjects. Maybe next year? But sometimes when life gives you lemons, you watch anime to fill that hole inside of you. And with that bit of real depression out of the way, the 2019 fall season is really starting off strong. And after a disappointing spring and a mild summer, I'm hoping that this will finish off the year strong so I can get to my fated top 5 anime of 2019 list. And because I'm such an original Joe, I'll be recommending to you guys my picks for anime to watch this season, and I narrowed it down to 7. Drink up your pumpkin spice lattes and listen well to the 7 anime to watch in fall 2019. If you're still big into isekai, then it both excites / pains me to say that we have more than 5 new isekai shows currently airing. All of them decent in their own ways, but because of my personal stance on isekai as a whole, I will unfortunately only give one of these shows a shout out. Although the one with Konosuba's author is associated with a show about wrestlers suplexing a princess sounds palatable to your tastes, might I recommend Cautious Hero, an alternative to scratch that Konosuba itch that most fans have right now. Unless you go see the movie in theaters coming this November, unless you're Canadian. Fucking hurts, man. Now in this isekai, it's a job of gods and goddesses to create fantasy worlds to send regular humans to solve the problems in them. One of the very best, Lustrous, is assigned an S-rank world, making even the mightiest of gods quiver in fear in how to control it. So Lustrous brings in a normal yet surprisingly stacked teenager with incredible stats to save that world. However, he turns out to have a character flaw of being way too cautious of everything, even nuking the shit out of one poor slime and spending the majority of the time working out. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. It's safe to say this is probably one of the funniest isekai this season, and his animation is kinetically exaggerated like Konosuba, but with a little bit more self-awareness in his genre bending, mocking some tropes of the genre while still being an isekai show with all the hallmarks that gets people hooked. The characters are humorous and the voice work is pretty on point, with some extra brownie points going to Lustrous' performance especially. With that said, it's got a lot to prove, but I am confident that it will hopefully be a relaxing piece of fresh air from such an oversaturated medium. It made me laugh real hard, and that's all you need if you're curious yourself. Pun intended. But the next curious show that should grab your attention is the detective thriller called Babylon, following a prosecutor in his efforts to unravel a political conspiracy in his jurisdiction of Shinkai, a district that promises to be a new nation. What follows is one of the most intriguing and uniquely captivating detective dramas I have seen in a long time, with an excellent first impression of its animation, cinematography, and story pacing. The drama that unfolds is down to earth, so there won't be any zany nonsense that most detective anime go for. If you're into more of that kind of stuff, there is a Sherlock Holmes anime that will be more for your tastes. However, this most certainly got me at the edge of my seat, and I shouted in excitement and disbelief whenever there's a twist in the narrative. Like, I've never felt as intense and mystified watching an interrogation scene in episode 2 than any other show of this nature. It's hard to say what fascinates me more without dipping into spoiler territory, because it focuses on fraud, prostitution, and even suicide culture, without making it feel rushed or pretentious. If my level of excitement doesn't get you excited for the next few episodes, then I don't know what will. Speaking of Babylon, Gilgamesh and a Rin Tosca lookalike are back in Fate Grand Order Babylonia. So get out your Fate encyclopedia books, kids, because if you're a beginner fan like me, you'll probably need it if you're gonna watch this anime. But like most Fate shows, it's impressive in its technicals and world building, as our main heroes must take the Holy Grail from Gilgamesh in order to stop a cataclysmic event in their current timeline from killing them all. In ancient Mesopotamian times, no less, and with killer goddesses and servants all around. If you're already confused about that brief synopsis, I can really not help you here, but I found that without much knowledge of Fate Grand Order, you can still be entertained by its visuals and premise regardless. As the characters build their reputations up in order to succeed in their goals, it wonderfully captures what the game is without ever leaning too heavily on its gimmicks. Well, somewhat. I quickly found that its narrative plays much like a game in question, and it will be a bit of a factor in whether or not you're gonna like this show or not. I say give it a try, if only not to see Rin again. I know she isn't Rin, but come on.
別に気遣ってなんかいないわよ。気遣ってるのはウルクの方で、ウルクなんて別に気遣ってなんかいないんだけどね。
She's fucking Rin. The next anime recommendation is, however, more complex, but not for story or characters, but instead because of this. Unfortunately for everyone, Beastars, the new anime by Land Illustrious staff Studio Orange, is blocked from Universal streaming on Netflix, and I don't need to tell you why that sucks balls. I actually had to watch it pirate style just to finally see what all the fuss was about. Well, that fuss is well warranted. Taking place in the world of anthropomorphic animals of different sizes, shapes, and species, a murder has just taken place and has sprung a divide between herbivores and carnivores. This proves especially difficult to our main hero Lugosi, who has suddenly begun to swing between his quiet, humble persona to his bloodthirsty, animalistic nature, making his life in school very difficult to control. Think of this as Zootopia, but with more violence, cleverness, and swag. Its visuals are impressive for the technology it's working with, but I think most can get that since it's by Studio Orange, who proved themselves worthy of handling 3D anime based on their last project. The characters are fascinating, the society is rich in how complex and methodical it can be, and there is a lot of potential for it to go even further with its thematic storytelling that talks about racism and natural impulses. It's the most complicated yet interesting show to come this fall, and you can wait until it comes stateside, or just swallow pride and just watch it illegally. I don't usually do that, but for this show, I might well have to, if only to say suck it to Netflix. But the only burning question that's going to be on everyone's mind is, will this show make you a furry? Yes, but maybe potential interspecies sex might not be up your alley. Maybe you just need a punk/noir hybrid where the main character has a gun for a head. And no, I did not make that shit up. No Gun's Life is that show. In the not so distant future, Juzo Inui is a resolver who gets the job done in a city full of cyborgs named Extended, who try to live their lives in times of post-war peace. Playing the role of detective, he must figure out who he really is while protecting himself and clients from dangerous third parties trying to turn him into tomorrow's junk. If you like shows like Black Lagoon, then you are in luck for this one. It's dark and gritty like a noir film, but has the weirdness, not for reals nonsense of a Hollywood action film. Not a great combination of genres in hindsight, but then again, anime has always found a way to tether these diverse subjects and make it work. No Gun's Life works, and has tons of cool characters that make it worth watching all the way through. If you like your anime, this show already gave you the silliest/coolest character this fall season, so why not give it a shot? Okay, please pinch me if you ever heard this one before. Doormat protagonist gains an entourage of cute and sexy girls in a by-the-numbers harem romantic comedy. Yeah, the makings of a disaster. Well, what if the main protagonist is actually faking his blandness, the girls have heart-shaped eyes towards his athletic best friend, and that the only girl who likes him is a librarian who is also his stalker? That's what Hoary Sookie is, and damn it, it's so good. I wouldn't say this is the first show that has made fun of cliches that high school romances have, but it's also one of the few that actually can be watched as both a meta comedy and a romantic comedy. The tropes that are used/mocked work so much better here because aside from the doe animation, it adds a self-aware twist to it to make it more memorable. Its unpredictability makes these characters stand out more, and it's just refreshing to see many sides of these high schoolers whenever the rug is pulled underneath them. I busted a gut laughing watching it, and much like Cautious Hero, it has the potential to go even further with its humor. Like with that dreaded park bench, accompanied by the most phoned in and hilarious use of a Star Wars music track I've ever heard. I guess if you like your romance mean-spirited yet charming like I do, this is something you don't want to miss out on seeing. And what can't be complete for fall but a spot for sports anime, which I'll give to a surprising entry to the list, Hoshi no Sora, or Stars Align. A coming-of-age show about a tennis club with not a lot of skill or talent justifies an inclusion in the school, so the members try to recruit an impressive athlete named Maki Katsurugi to join, which he begrudgingly agrees under the condition that he be paid for his service. And the best I can say at this point is there is a depressing reason for why he needs the money, and so much of the show is built around the nature of the main cast and their struggles on and off the court. So basically, it's kind of similar to many other coming-of-age youth stories you've probably heard a million times already. Now, the reason I recommend this show, however, is how good it does in execution with its bright cast and presentation. I was truthfully a bit wary putting it on the list at first, but after a major moment in episode 2, I just had to give it a shot and get the message out to keep watching the show. It's getting better and better as the episodes are released, and I do hope that it can deliver on some very powerful moments. And it'd be nice for you guys to check out these shows for yourself and enjoy them before the year ends, which I'll be putting together in my fated top 5 anime of 2019 list. Thanks for watching, be sure to subscribe, and tell me what new shows you'll be catching up on this fall. It's your bra man, getting ready for winter, because I live in Canada.